It is time for the Reader Problems tag. I'm a reader, I have problems. I have no idea who started this tag. If I figure it out, I'll put that information in the description of the video on YouTube. I wasn't tagged by anyone. I can't even remember where I saw this tag. So, to begin, let me explain. I have nothing planned for this tag. I think the questions are going to be easy to answer just off the cuff, so I'm giving that a try. Questions. Number 1. You have 20,000 books on your TBR. How in the world did you decide what to read next? Well, I do have a lot of books on my Pinterest TBR. Every time I see a book that looks interesting or attractive, I put it on Pinterest. I put the book cover there. If you want to look at my Pinterest account, I will put that in the description of the video on YouTube. Well, every year for the last 3 years, I've been doing the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge. And they have a list of about 50 prompts. And I go through those prompts and I use my other TBR list and Amazon and Goodreads to help me decide what I am going to read for each of these prompts. And I find that to be a lot of fun. I do it at the end of each year to get ready for the following year. And I post my lists on my blog at lindajomartin.com. So that is my actual TBR list for 2018. Sometimes I add things to it, but I, for the most part, try to stay very close to that list because if I make it to 50 books in a year, it's going to be a miracle. That is my goal for this year, but I don't think I'm going to make it. I've never read 50 books in a year. I'm kind of a slow reader. I do the best I can, and anyhow, with the 20,000 books on my TBR list, I would just narrow it down to 50 for the year and be done with it. Question number 2. You're halfway through a book and you're just not loving it. Do you quit or are you committed? Well, it really depends on how boring it is or whether I think there's something in there that's bothering me quite a bit. So I would definitely quit reading the book if it was bothering me that bad. For the most part, if it's just not the best book in the world, but it's okay, I'll just keep reading it. Question number 3. The end of the year is coming and you're so close, but so far away on your Goodreads reading challenge. Do you try to catch up, and how? Well, actually, this happened to me last year. I was a few books short at the end of the year, so I just cleared my schedule and did the reading so that I could get to the number for my goal. So I would probably do that again this year if I have the time, and maybe I will have the time. Question number 4. The cover of a series you love do not match. How do you cope? Well, first of all, it's very unlikely that I would be reading a series. I usually try to avoid series. I think the last series that I read was The Uglies. I mean, it was okay, but it was YA. I am not really into series, and that's kind of weird because I'm kind of writing a series, and that's shameful that I don't like to read them, but I want to write one. So I think what I'm going to do with the ones I'm writing is make them into standalone novels, but they all take place in the same world. I've got a world that they're in. Hard to explain. I don't want to say too much about it because I've already got 4 of them written, but they're all standalone novels. They're not really a series. Or they could be taken as a series, but anyhow, moving on. The series that I'm reading this year is by Marilynne Robinson. Starts with Gilead, and then there's Home and Lila. So I haven't read the second 2. The covers don't match, and it doesn't bother me at all. Everyone and their mother, question number 5. Everyone and their mother loves a book you really don't like. Who do you bond with over shared feelings. If I really don't like it and everybody and their mother loves those books or that book, I just stay quiet. Believe me, there are some things I am staying quiet about. I think everybody has the right to choose their own reading material, and more power to them. So I can't explain my reasons to everyone, so there's no need for me to say that I just don't like the books or I don't want to read them. Right? Keep it to myself. Question number 6. You're reading a book and you are about to start crying in public. How do you deal? Well, first of all, I hope I have Kleenex with me. If I don't have Kleenex, then I'm heading to the nearest place where I can get some. Question number 7. A sequel of a book you loved just came out, but you've forgotten a lot from the prior novel. Will you reread the book? Skip the sequel. Try to find a synopsis on Goodreads. Cry in frustration. I would go read some reviews on Goodreads and Amazon and maybe look for a Wikipedia page that might have the entire plot written on it. Got to watch out for those Wikipedia pages. Do not read them until after you've read the book. Question number 8. Do you not want anyone... question number 8, starting over again. You do not want anyone borrowing your books. How do you politely tell people no when they ask? Well, this actually is my situation because I am secretly OCD. I do not like to have anyone touching my books. And if somebody wants to handle my book, it really makes my skin crawl. It upsets me. So if they want to borrow a book, I would more than likely say, you can have that book. Now, this happened not too long ago that a friend wanted to borrow a book, and fortunately I have the same book on my Kindle, so I just told her to take the book. And so that was easy for me, but normally I did not want anyone else touching my books. And I really don't particularly like using library books and used books. I'd rather have new books, which is way too expensive, but yeah, it's terrible to have OCD. Oh, and here's one. Question number 9, reading ADD. You've picked up and put down 5 books in the last month. How do you get over your reading slump? I just force myself through it. If I have a reading slump, I just start setting goals for myself and force myself to make the time for them. It's the only way that I know of. Moving on. Question number 10. There are so many new books coming out that you're dying to read. How many do you actually buy? I probably wouldn't actually have this situation come up because I don't pay much attention to books that are coming out soon. I don't know why. I know other people do, and I just am not paying much attention. I'm not a series reader, so I'm not always looking for that next book in the series. There's so many books to be read, I don't really care too much about ones that haven't been published. So I would not buy unpublished books normally, unless maybe a friend wrote them. Question number 11. After you've bought the new books you can't wait to get to, how long do they sit on your shelf before you get to them? Well, it depends. I have a few books here that are brand new, sitting here to be read at a future date and maybe taking me months. I've got one book that hasn't been read that's been here over a year. But for the most part, the ones that I buy new are getting read. So that is the goal, of course. I don't want to have too many books sitting around here unread. and of course I do have a lot, just like most people. However, I'm trying to curtail my book buying, until I'm actually ready to read the book. So that is it for this tag. It is the reader problem tag. No, reader problems tag. And I have no idea who I should tag. I really didn't plan that. So thank you very much for watching my tag. It was kind of a fun tag. Really enjoyed doing it. Hope you all have a pleasant week, and I'll talk to you later.